Trying to pick out the best PC space games is a galaxy-sized question. Developers have been churning out space adventures since the 70s, and with everyone getting excited about Jupiter, and with Kickstarter and crowdfunding allowing studios to strike out alone, we're currently just a teensy bit obsessed with what's beyond our little blue and green marble. In this video, I will show you some best space games on PC. But before we start this video, please subscribe to my channel Games Puff and press the bell icon for more gaming videos. So without any further ado, let's start this video. The first game of this video is Star Trek Online. In movies and online, Star Trek has come a long way in a comparatively short space of time, though arguably it's the initially troubled MMO that's had the longest journey. Ravaged a little upon release for effectively being a bad fit, Star Trek Online has ended up filling its replica uniform rather well and is now regarded as one of the best MMORPGs around. While Star Trek Online came out many years ago, it's still receiving regular content updates and even expansions. The most recent one, Rise of Discovery, tells the story of a pivotal moment in the lives of both Gabriel Lorca and Ellen Landry. Next up we have Star Conflict. Star Conflict is a dogfighting-free MMO that sees pilots clash amid asteroid belts and above planets in fast-paced scraps. While it's mostly concerned with PvP battles, you can grab a few quests, explore ruins, and dabble in a spot of crafting. There's a metagame too, as you fight for your chosen faction, hunting down foes and getting in pitched battles in an effort to spread your group's influence and net yourself some lovely rewards. Next up we have EVE Online. This has been the preeminent space game for so long that you might be forgiven for thinking it's the only space game in existence. Unquestionably, EVE Online is one of the most interesting, partly down to the fact that its 500,000 online inhabitants play on the same mega server, rather than having to endure the severed realities offered by its many fantasy contemporaries. The new player experience is being continually streamlined, but can still be challenging, especially if your aim is to carve out a small empire for yourself within a few weeks. Give yourself a fighting chance with our EVE Online Beginner's Guide. Next game of this video is No Man's Sky. Space is an unconquered and never-ending vista. That desire to explore the unknown also forms the attraction of Hello Games' No Man's Sky, which uses procedural generation to ensure that you'll never reach the end of its recreation of space, which has over 18 quintillion planets to explore. You can now play No Man's Sky on PC Game Pass, and it continues to see regular huge updates. Next up we have Stellaris. Stellaris, Paradox's 4X grand strategy hybrid, makes space surprising again thanks to event chains that are, at first, evocative of Crusader Kings 2, but end up going much further. In Stellaris, you should expect mutant uprisings, robotic rebellions, and the discovery of alien texts that make your citizens question their place in the galaxy. Stellaris's multiplayer isn't to be overlooked either, transforming decent human beings into Machiavellian alien tyrants at the drop of a hat. Next up we have Kerbal Space Program. The first order of doing anything in space is, of course, to get there. Unfortunately, most games in this otherwise splendid list make the rather wild assumption that rocket science isn't all that important and skip to the business of spreading violence, free market capitalism, and all manner of other human diseases to all corners of various galaxies. Thankfully, the space program to which the Kerbals faithfully apply is rather more grounded in reality, in the sense that the aim of the game is to avoid crashing into the stuff. Next up we have Dual Universe. Dual Universe is a first-person space MMO with a single persistent universe shared between all players simultaneously and is voxel-based and fully editable, allowing you to build the sci-fi cities and hulking space stations of your dreams. There's also a global, player-controlled economy, which you can contribute to by building production factories. Or if combat is more your thing than trading, there's masses of PvP to participate in, out there on the dangerous fringes of space. Next up we have Homeworld Remastered Collection. Homeworld's the sort of game that gets inside your head and just stays there. It originally came out 15 years ago, eventually spawning an expansion, an excellent sequel, and most recently, Homeworld Remastered Collection. It's a series that remains unsurpassed. It's also one of those rare strategy games that has a great story, both tragic and hopeful, filled to the brim with tension. It's a voyage of discovery, of learning about the past and desperately struggling to create a future. It's beautiful and a bit sad. Next up we have Outer Wilds. Not to be confused with The Outer Worlds, another awesome space game from 2019, Outer Wilds casts you as an astronaut anthropologist out in the wilds of space exploring ruins across your solar system. Your goal is to learn as much about the mysterious alien race, the Namai, as possible, but it's pretty much up to you how that mystery unravels. There are several distinct planets to explore and a 20-minute time loop that bookends your adventures neatly, so each run you'll aim to discover a little more about the world before your progress partially resets. The last game of this video is Endless Space 2. Story, a 4X designer would probably say, is something that emerges naturally from the interplay of systems in a strategy game, the clash of borders, and unplanned war. Amplitude Studios don't think that's much of an excuse. They've stuffed Endless Space 2 with as much science fiction as it can contain, and given that it's got whole galaxies to fill, that's plenty. Here you'll meet living crystals, tiny dragons, recycled war machines and millions of clones of a bloke named Horatio. So that's the list of some best PC space games that you can play in 2021. If you enjoy this video, so hit the like button and subscribe to my channel Games Puff and press the bell icon for more gaming updates.